Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with Yansu, an avid enthusiast of Bruce Lee films. He idolizes Bruce Lee, and perceives him as the epitome of coolness. As he matures, circumstances lead Yansu to relocate from his hometown to Seoul, in 1978. It is widely believed that investing in property in Seoul is a wise decision. This move necessitates his transition to a new school, and the challenge of mingling with the rather haughty urban populace. One fateful day, as Yansu is about to board the school bus, an older student confronts him with a slap. This act is not driven by financial motives. Instead, the older student desires the school uniform pin that Yansu is supposed to wear. This pin holds significance at the school, and its absence could result in punitive measures. He soon becomes aware his new high school operates within a semi-military framework. Owing to his unfamiliarity with the pin, he finds himself in trouble with the school counselor. Complicating matters, the school is an all-boys institution, making it challenging for him to forge connections with female peers. He eventually finds a seat next to a friendly classmate, named Han Jae-bok. Jae-bok is an affable student who possesses a penchant for eating, and an unusual side business involving adult magazines. Amidst a math test, Yansu stands out as the sole student, who can confidently and accurately address the questions, garnering praise from the teacher, and evoking mixed emotions from his peers. However, his successes do not exempt him from the school's emphasis on solidarity, as all students including him are subjected to physical punishment, in the form of running laps around the field. Surprising himself, he embraces this punishment, and emerges as the swiftest runner. The next day, Yansu faces a slap from a mischievous classmate named Supri, who has a propensity for pen stabbing, and exhibits erratic behavior. Seeking clarity, Yansu turns to Jae-bok for insights. On his way home from school, he becomes captivated by a beautiful girl from the neighboring all-girls high school. Despite his shyness, he musters the courage to greet her when they disembark from the school bus. Back at home, his father, Jae, insists that he undertake taekwondo training. Yielding to his father's wishes, he embarks on this martial arts journey, although he finds his father's aggressive educational approach disconcerting. Seeking an outlet for his frustrations, he turns to Bruce Lee's illustrated books, and practices with his double stick. Events unfold a few days later. A tough character named Samiti occupies a position in the student council and the school's gang. Samiti's appearance coincides with a conflict involving Supri and a handwashing station. Samiti's intervention is anticipated, but it's another student, Woosik, renowned for his toughness, who stands up for Supri. This unexpected gesture leads to a brawl between Yansu and Supri, witnessed by Woosik, who strongly opposes bullying. Subsequently, Jae-bok expresses gratitude to Yansu for safeguarding his belongings. As a gesture of appreciation, he gifts Yansu adult magazines, which eventually land them in trouble during a surprise inspection by school authorities. A basketball match between two class teams, led by Yansu and Samiti respectively, becomes a significant event. Despite the intensity of the game, a teammate of Yansu sustains a severe injury. This prompts Woosik to invite Yansu to join the team. To everyone's surprise, Yansu exhibits remarkable basketball skills, contributing significantly to his team's victory. In celebration of their win, Woosik treats the team including Yansu to a meal at a local eatery. Further merriment ensues as Woosik invites everyone to a nightclub, under the guise of university students. An evening of revelry ensues, bringing the group closer together as the night unfolds. Later, a surprising twist unfolds as Woosik catches everyone off guard, bringing a group of girls to their table. This unexpected move delights Jae-bok and the rest of the group, but Yansu, being from a village, struggles with the brash behavior typical of city teenagers. As the night goes on, they dance with the girls, but excessive drinking leads to unruly behavior. Jae-bok ends up in a heated argument, causing trouble and attracting unwanted attention. This predicament forces them to flee from pursuing nightclub troublemakers. Fortunately, Woosik and Yansu manage to escape, and this marks the beginning of a strong friendship. From that night on, Woosik provides guidance to Yansu, encouraging him to stand up against bullies at school. Recognizing the strength of their camaraderie, Yansu feels more secure. Laughter becomes a regular part of their interactions, as they share amusing escapades with classmates. On their daily bus rides home, Yansu, Woosik and Jae-bok bond, with Yansu harboring a crush on a beautiful girl he observed. Sadly, the girl is a victim of bullying by an older student. Unable to ignore this, Yansu intervenes, but it is Woosik who boldly defends her, leading to a confrontation with the senior. Their efforts result in a skirmish, prompting them to split up for safety. Woosik and Jae-bok flee, while Yansu and his friends stay behind to guard the girl. However, their cover is blown, and they face the senior once more. Providentially, Woozik arrives in the nick of time to rescue them. The girl, Yoon-yo, expresses her gratitude, treating them to a meal. She reveals herself as a senior at an all-girls high school. Despite his budding feelings, Yeonsu chooses to prioritize their friendship over pursuing a romantic connection. The next day during lunch, Yeonsu and Woozik find themselves summoned by a senior named Jimin, a member of an outside gang. Despite their reluctance, they face consequences due to Jimin's influence. With time, however, Woozik grows weary of the situation, and resolves to assert himself. This leads to a brutal confrontation, leaving both Woozik and Yeonsu battered by Jimin and his gang. The school penalizes them, but with the intervention of Woozik's mother, an actress named Wallone, they avoid suspension. Wallone's fame inadvertently elevates Woozik's status, earning him respect and popularity among peers. Months pass, and after a tiring school day, Yeonsu and Woozik decide to dine at the Gimbap Tavern. In a candid moment, Yeonsu inquires about Woozik's feelings for Yoon-yo. However, he learns Woozik had been rejected by her, which dampens his spirits. Seeing an opening, Yeonsu resolves to pursue Yoon-yo himself. Over time, they grow closer, spending more time together. As he pursues Yoon-yo, Yeonsu becomes committed to improving his guitar skills, aware that she admires musicians. This dedication leads him to prepare for a guitar competition. One afternoon at school, the students are engrossed in studying South Korean history. Woozik finds himself growing restless. Seeking a distraction, he opts to delve into a book. In an unexpected turn, he ends up borrowing an adult comic from classmate Jae-bok. Regrettably, his teacher catches him in the act, resulting in a reprimand that includes several slaps. Amidst this chastisement, Woozik accidentally divulges that the adult comic belongs to Jae-bok. Consequently, the teacher instructs Jae-bok to consume the comic as a form of punishment, who feels deeply embarrassed before his peers. Meanwhile, Woozik is reluctant to apologize to Jae-bok. However, he has a change of heart, and takes it upon himself to facilitate reconciliation. Shortly thereafter, he surprises Yeonsu, returning an umbrella borrowed from Yoon-yo. Woozik discloses that he and Yoon-yo are now in an official relationship. Learning this, Yeonsu experiences a profound sense of sadness, causing his enthusiasm for an upcoming guitar competition to wane. This competition was intended to impress Yoon-yo. To cope with his sorrow, Yeonsu seeks solace in his father's taekwondo gym, channeling his emotions into punching a heavy bag. Eventually, during a study session at Yoon-yo's tutoring spot, Woozik and Yoon-yo are joined by Yeonsu. However, Woozik's lack of focus on studying becomes apparent. He's engaging in the study session merely to maintain his connection with Yoon-yo. During this time, Yoon-yo arrives with a birthday gift for Woozik, eliciting feelings of jealousy in Yeonsu. In response, Yeonsu decides to exit, giving Woozik a chance with Yoon-yo. Later in the evening, Woozik and Yeonsu extend an invitation to Yoon-yo, urging her to join them at a nightclub. At the club, Yeonsu remains a silent observer, while Woozik and Yoon-yo share dances and kisses. Frustrated, he eventually decides to leave, making a pit stop at a gimbap shop for sustenance. While dining, he opens up to the owner of the shop, Myeon, who responds with genuine concern, offering him comfort and even proposing an unconventional idea for fun. A week later, Yeonsu and Woozik cross paths with Jae-bok, who has recently returned after a suspension. However, Jae-bok's demeanor has grown more arrogant, since affiliating with the group Samiti gang. In due course, Supri finds himself in another altercation with Samiti, this time in the classroom. Tensions escalate, and the confrontation turns physical as Supri delivers punches and kicks. Observing this chaos, Yeonsu feels sympathy for Supri and eventually musters the courage to intervene. Regrettably, Yeonsu becomes the target of Samiti's aggression. Fortunately, Jae-bok steps in to defuse the situation. Soon, Woozik arrives and delivers a stern warning to Samiti, urging him to avoid causing further disruptions in their class. He even issues a threat, suggesting he won't shy away from a physical confrontation. Following this, Supri emerges from the counseling room, bearing visible signs of a beating. He suspects Jung-jin, a fellow student and member of the Samiti gang, has reported him. Despite the consequences, Supri continues to act out in class, culminating in an incident. He stabs Jung-jin in the head with a pen. As a result, the school administration decides to expel Supri, further amplifying the turmoil surrounding the characters and their interactions. At school, military officers catch them sleeping in class. When scolded, Supri remains indifferent, aware of his impending expulsion. The officer's frustration leads to physical punishment, but Supri fights back and overpowers him. Due to escalating violence, the school implements a rule for transferring students based on their grades. However, Yeon-soo receives a reprimand instead of a transfer, due to his declining grades. After school, he unexpectedly meets Yoon-yo again, and they chat at a chicken noodle shop. She asks for his help in returning a pen to Woo-sik. Yeon-soo fulfills the request, but Woo-sik accuses him of improper intentions with Yoon-yo. Offended, he punches Woo-sik, resulting in a fight. They're scolded and subjected to punishment by their teacher. At night, as Yeon-soo tends to his wounds, he hears a live radio broadcast of a letter from Yoon-yo, fueling his desire for her. He meets up with her, and promises to take her for a walk while playing the guitar. They spend time together by the lake. Meanwhile, Woo-sik and Jae-bok's relationship deteriorates, leading to arguments. Woo-sik contemplates harming, but is interrupted. He retaliates, and Jae-bok stabs him. Samiti joins, challenging Woo-sik to a duel. They gather on the school rooftop, where fights break out. Woo-sik faces Samiti in a brutal fight and loses. Yeon-soo steps in to escort Woo-sik back, who disappears from school, sparking rumors about his whereabouts. Yeon-soo doesn't believe these, and Yoon-yo also vanishes. Yeon-soo's life becomes chaotic, he faces academic and personal struggles. He becomes withdrawn and stops talking to others. Despite bullying, he yearns to defeat Samiti. To stand a chance, he trains in Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do techniques. He challenges Samiti and wins with improved martial skills. Fear spreads in the school. Yeon-soo and his father apologize to Samiti's parents. Despite expulsion and risk, his father surprisingly doesn't show anger, and tells him that he can always get a GED, and asks if Bruce Lee went to college, knowing full well that he didn't, realizing that a good man isn't defined by a college education. A year later, Yeon-soo returns to study, encounters Jae-bok, and spots Yoon-yo on a bus. We see an awkward greeting between Yeon-soo and Yoon-yo. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.